Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another presentation of the Charm City Sideline Podcast. I'm Zach, and to your right is Brad, my co-host, and we're breaking down another. We're running out of adjectives to describe this Ravens team. I'm going to go with a very basic one: just disappointing loss. I mean, every little fiber of this team that was, or these fans too, that were imagining that we would keep it close. Not even in the vicinity. Texans win 44-10. Nate starting it off hot. The whole locker room feels like it's in revolt. Unrecognizable team from NF Nelly. Yeah, it is to a point where you would think that the coaches would, there would be some move, right? Everyone is now like treating it as if the world is on fire because it feels like it is. And Harbaugh goes out into a presser and says, well, it's not Zach Orr. It's not him. I mean, he getting rid of him wouldn't do us any favors. And it just feels like they're making their bed right now. Like, I don't know what to think about the Ravens. I've lost all faith. How about you, Brad?
Yeah. It is really hard to even decide what to say or how to start. 2 weeks in a row now where the Ravens got dominated. It was rare for the Ravens to get dominated 1 week in the Harbaugh era. You know, go back to 2008. You can find maybe a handful of times the Ravens got blown out. It's now happened 2 weeks in a row. I don't care that Lamar was playing. I don't care that there was a lot of injuries. Go back to even 2021. It was Tyler Huntley and basically defensive personnel, probably worse than what we saw today. And they hung in there. I know they lost 6 in a row, but every game was close. They were hanging in there with top teams in the NFL, and they looked okay. These past 2 games have just been terrible. And usually with our post-game reactions, we kind of go chronological order throughout the game. And, this one is just, it's so bad that it would just, I mean, you guys would be bored as hell if we did that. So it's kind of crazy to be in this spot now 2 weeks in a row. Zach, we usually have a ton of fun breaking down the game, this play there, that play there, this time out there. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And it's just like, no, we're just getting crushed right now. So it's a weird spot to be in for sure.
Yeah, and like you're saying, with that different personnel too, you would think that there is a move imminent. You'd think that, some of the players that we have would keep it close. Like, this isn't the final straw, which makes me angry.
Mm-hmm.
You would think for any other NFL team, this would have been it. Like next week, Charles asks, is this what it's like to be a Browns fan? Yeah, I'd say so. Like, I had people texting me all day, like, Ravens suck, huh? Like, Ravens defense blows. Ravens offense sucks. I'm like, join the club. We know.
Yeah.
Like, we're fully aware. The issue being we had this sliver of faith in Harbaugh. We did. I think we'd admit that. I had faith in Harbaugh to keep this game close.
Yeah.
Texans blow. And they just looked like a great playoff team against us because, like I said back in our preview, I believe the Ravens right now are everybody's get back team.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get back on track now. We're only going to allow 2 sacks, which I think is the lowest for the Texans all year. Ravens aren't going to pick us off or force any fumbles or be aggressive in any way for turnover. They're not going to get pressure. Stroud's going to be basically just glowing in the pocket. So this is the lowest I've ever been, I believe, as a Ravens fan. Any other time, it feels like we had been like expecting this kind of bad stuff. And this time, seeing a Texans team that is down on their luck too, we're down on our luck, and you expect it to be close. It's a 34-point loss, and Harbaugh's refusing to say that, he says it's on the coaches, but he's not saying that he's willing to make a move. He's not going to say it in a press conference. I know that. But it doesn't feel like any moves are imminent. And I think that's kind of heartbreaking that this year is kind of ruined by that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we were obviously over exaggerating, Zach. But when we first figured out that Madubuike was dealing with a neck issue
Yep.
and that it didn't sound great, I mean, we're obviously exaggerating, but we're texting each other, "Oh, season's over, season's over." Like, you know what I mean? Even though we obviously knew it wasn't, at least then it wasn't. But like that was the first cookie to crumble, as they say. You know, probably your second best defensive player being out for the year. And even though he's maybe your second best defensive player, maybe your most important one, just because of his role on the defensive line. And we saw what it was like to miss him in the Lions game. And then you lose a bunch of other players, right? And then you lose Lamar. And this is kind of what you get when you combine the injuries the Ravens have and what is bad coaching right now. And we're only 6 minutes in here, Zach, but I guess I'll just sort of get to this now. And I talked about this last week. I did. But you go back to the years when Greg Roman was here. And this includes me, guys. Like, everyone hated on Greg Roman all the time.
Yep.
Okay. Greg Roman was John Harbaugh's offensive coordinator, right? Greg Roman was not employing himself. He was not, John Harbaugh is the reason that Greg Roman was here. John Harbaugh was the reason that Greg Roman was fired 2 years later than he should have been. Okay. So when I see all over my Instagram right now, and people that are texting me, whatever, saying fire Zach Orr, it's almost like you guys got the wrong guy. Like, this is not a Zach Orr problem. This is not a Zach Orr problem. This is a John Harbaugh problem. Yes, is Mike McDonald a better play caller than Zach Orr? Definitely, right? But and is Zach Orr struggling? Probably is, right?
Yeah.
Is he dealing with a lot of injuries? Probably is.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh, even though he's special teams guy, John Harbaugh's been like a DB coach in the past, all that stuff. Like, he's never been an offensive coordinator. John Harbaugh is like more of a defensive guy. He is working with Zach Orr. Like, that is, defense is sort of their thing. John Harbaugh can change whatever he wants with the defense. He can change whatever he wants with the offense, right? So like all these people blaming Zach Orr, and like, listen, I blamed Greg Roman all the time when he was here.
Yeah.
You still can say like, oh, that's a terrible play call. These guys aren't playing how well they should. Like, you can still say those things, but it's like blaming the coordinator is here when it's like there's a guy above them that should be the one getting the blame. And I know a lot of people are blaming Harbaugh too, but like, I just kind of just want to clarify that like, I don't think anyone who's like putting all the blame on Zach Orr, it's definitely not right.
I want to respond to what you're saying. Mad Rasta had a super chat. We appreciate you so much.
Appreciate
this
it,
team's failure is EDC and John. Ooh. Until both go, this team will never meet expectations. Every team has major issues. Injuries, not issues. Look at the 49ers. Yeah. Niners just proved it, that with the competent coaching staff and still a good, well-built roster, that you can go beat a Rams team. Like, we're probably going to lose by 30 next week. And the Niners with, sure, Mac Jones is a lot better quarterback, I think, than Cooper Rush. But a Mac Jones with no wide receiver 1 or 2 went in there. No tight end 1 in George Kittle. Go in there and beat a Rams team. Like, I don't know if it's a mentality. I don't know if it is the locker room being lost. There's no real, the Ravens are really good at it. The Ravens won't let a big storyline like that get out where a player goes to a reporter and says they've lost the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how the Ravens are built. And even if that is happening, I feel like they wouldn't go to it. So I'm not going to give EDC the blame, because but listen, we were so sold on how good of a roster this was that you didn't need to make any changes. And on paper, it was the best in football. I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he didn't build it great within the trenches, but he built it. And I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he didn't build it great within the trenches, but he built it. And I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he didn't build it great within the trenches, but he built it. And I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he didn't build it great within the trenches, but he built it. And I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he didn't build it great within the trenches, but he built it. And I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he didn't build it great within the trenches, but he built it. And I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he didn't build it great within the trenches, but he built it. And I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he didn't build it great within the trenches, but he built it. And I think you kind of just give him a pass here. Like, I know that he d but he wasn't expecting a Madubuike season-ending injury. He wasn't expecting a Voorhees and Fa'alele that I'm sure the coaching staff was singing their praises about to play as bad as they are. Like, I give him a pass. I have no sympathy for Harbaugh. I think I told Brad after our last video, I was like, there's no pressure on the players right now. It's all on Harbaugh. And Harbaugh can't give the pressure to those players. Like, yeah, you're NFL players. It's your jobs right now at stake. But the Ravens roster is great. And it's supposed to be great. And Harbaugh has led them literally nowhere, into the ground, I guess. So I'm going to give EDC the bye here. Sure, he could have addressed trenches more. I think we all would have been happy with that. But for what we were thinking at the beginning of the year, you can't make any changes right now in a week 6. So I still think all blame goes to the coaches. I'm not pointing the finger at the players as much as it should be, I guess.
There's a lot of comments going both ways about EDC right now.
Yeah.
And I think that he deserves some blame. Like,
sure. But it's minor, right?
Like, Zach, I texted you this. We did a end of season Q&A like the day after the Super Bowl back in February. And we talked for about 10 minutes about why the Ravens need to build the trenches more. Because that was literally, 24 hours after the Eagles had trounced the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. All they did was extend Ronnie,
which
sign John Jenkins, and draft Peebles in the 5th. Like, we talked about the trenches a ton early off season. Like, I remember saying, I want them to extend Ronnie, draft a guard in the first round, sign another cheap guard. Like, that's what I wanted them to do on the offensive line. They copied and pasted last year's offensive line, minus McCary, who was probably the best guard last year. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying it's obviously, I think less than 50% of the blame goes on EDC, but like, the O-line is bad. It's not good. And the D-line, obviously you lose Madubuike, but I still don't think it's where it should have been. And like, including honestly, I'll give them a pass on the edge rush side of things because OA has not been what you would hope. But the D-line and the offensive line has not been good.
Yeah, up to even par. Like, you would ask for it to be middle of the league, and this team would be in all of those, and it's been nowhere near it. We are on pace to give up 600 points on the year. Historic. That would be the first in the NFL for a team to do. And I know the Ravens players aren't playing great, but to put it back on the coaching, you're supposed to set these players up to succeed, to make the big plays. For now, 20 plus games of the Zach Orr experience, I don't think there's been a single game where it's felt like that, where a defensive coordinator outpitched the OC in a way that it made it feel that we were taking away the ball, stopping early, and getting off the field. By the end of last year, you can argue it. But with most of the same roster besides, I guess, like Michael Pierce, Chris Board, like not having our Darius sucks. There's names missing, but it's like it's unexplainable that the team would take this massive step back. Last in the NFL step back. So if you throw in a DC right now, we can be cautiously optimistic about it, but he's not going to exceed either. Like, it's not like he's going to next week, like I believe the Titans tried to do. Titans tried to change their defensive play calling over and then got beat 26-0 the following week. like their team just isn't good defensively. So if the Ravens are the same way, where the players are not playing up to par, what you're asking them to do, you're having a lot of injuries. Next week is the real tell. You're going to get a few more Pro Bowlers back, a few more guys back, hopefully. And if they don't even look remotely competitive, just like this, then I don't know how an organization wouldn't decide to move on from their coaches at that point. It would be malpractice. Like it would be unexcusable NFL talk to see a 1-5 football team led by Lamar Jackson, who hasn't played the last 2 weeks, but it's unacceptable. We've reached that level of football in the year, I think. And it's week freaking 6 now. Like, come on.
I know it's looked really bad. And like, that's just the whole thing that normally when the Ravens are really banged up, they still come to play. I mean, remember like the Wednesday 4 p.m. game against the Steelers during COVID? Like they had no one playing and they should have won the game. Like going back to even, 3-4 years ago, like when they had a ton of injuries, they still played really well and would almost win games. And it looks terrible this year. And it really looks like there's no tenacity on the offensive or the defensive side of the ball. Like it doesn't look like anyone truly cares. And that definitely falls on the coach and your ability to, motivate your guys. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like probably sitting at 1-5. And it is interesting to think about, like, I wonder what this team would be if like they were fully healthy. But that's not the reality. So, you know, with firing or the possibility of firing or like number one, we've already talked about this. Who's going to call the plays if you fire or? Because Chuck Pagano, we already talked about this, probably doesn't want to. He came out of retirement to have a laid back, basically assistant defensive backs coaching role. Dean Pease doesn't want to. So like who would do that first of all? Would they be better than Zach Orr? Would they be put in the right position to, be a good play caller? Do they want to put themselves in that spot where they could make themselves look bad when they haven't had a play calling job yet? Like there's all these things to take into account. And, that's probably why John Harbaugh thinks that firing or wouldn't really help because like maybe it wouldn't. Like I'm not so sure that it would help.
I'm not sure either.
Like there's obviously certain things that just look bad and you can tell. I mean, even early last year you could tell that like maybe this isn't the right guy. I mean, I personally would have gone with Anthony Weaver, but like it's just not. Everything just looks terrible right now. And I mean, what is good about this team? We were talking about like who has sort of been good all season. It's probably just Zay Flowers. Is there anyone else who's been good all year?
Or available all year, too. You could say that, too.
I don't think they're like I think Nate Wiggins has been pretty good all year.
Yeah,
I'd say Zay Flowers and Nate Wiggins are the only two guys you can point to that are you can say like they've been good this year. They've been really good this year. So and Tyler Loop did look good until he shanked the 55-yarder today.
Yeah. Yep. Comment from King Morgan about like Lamar on the sideline with a gold chain. You don't give a damn. Like, is Lamar supposed to right now? Like, he has every card right now. He's hurt. Whether you guys like it or not, I don't know why that narrative is real, that he's not hurt and he's just sitting there. That's not true. Like, he has every card in his hand. If he were to say, going into this next offseason, we have to have an offensive coach and we got to make really big changes on the O-line or else I'm out. Does EDC say yes to that? Like,
I think so.
you would hope. I think there's not a lot of those moments in the NFL with those kind of players, and them not actually in the especially the front office not kind of bowing down to them and saying, "All right, yep, actually, we'll do that."
Yeah.
It's a discussion to have because we all love Lamar. It feels like we're kind of wasting his years now, like in I kind of say the prime of his career. And the worst part is that I don't know if there is a change right now that flips this team around. Like, there isn't an offensive lineman that comes in and fix it. There isn't a pass rush guy that comes in right now and fixes it. And the worst part is we're going to have to give up draft capital. Khalil kind of here, a good pass rush would work wonders for our secondary. And I don't think there's a lot of guys out there to trade for. I don't think if the Ravens do want to trade for a guy, it would be this, EDC of old where he trades and gets like a stud for a 4th or 5th rounder. That's not going to happen anymore. So, because all these teams are honestly a little competitive in any situation, so they're going to want their guys.
Yeah.
And it just looks dire. Like there's no. If Lamar comes back next week, I don't want him to. If he comes back, like, am I expecting us to win all of a sudden? Like, the defense can't freaking stop a nosebleed.
I know. I mean, the Ravens would not have won today with Lamar unless. No. I mean, the O-line was terrible. The offensive line was terrible.
They would lose 44 to maybe 10. I mean, they wouldn't freaking do anything else.
Hit on Cooper Rush all you want. What was he supposed to do today? Like, there was absolutely no run game at all, and the pass blocking sucked too. Like, no quarterback is going to be good in this. Lamar could still put up 30 because he's insane, but like, this is not a good situation.
That's a good comment from Khalil. Sorry to interrupt you, Brad. Could have signed Zadarius Smith, and he looks pretty good in Philly.
Yeah,
there was opportunities like that, right? Clowney was available for a couple of weeks, and it was like, no, we trust our guys. There was a couple of chances you could take to help, but it still wouldn't have been a problem solver.
Yeah. No, I was just talking about, like, this offensive line is just bad, and like, it's just like, I don't know why the Ravens, and this is like the whole EDC thing. Like, why do they think trenches matter less than like these other top teams? Like, the Eagles, it's like all they care about. And it's just like, the meme of Burrow can't throw to Chase because no one's blocking for him. Like, when the whole Penei Sewell / Jamar Chase thing, like, oh, who should they draft? Like,
yeah.
The Ravens finally put all this effort into having the first, above average receiving core they've had since 2012. And the O-line is just bottom 5. And, we hated on the Ravens for having terrible receivers in 2019 and 2020. But their O-line was good. Like, 2019, the Ravens had one of the best offenses ever. It's because they had 3 Pro Bowlers on the offensive line and 2 guys who were solid. Like, it matters more than everything besides quarterback. I literally say this every single pod we do in the offseason, and they just did not address it. And that's why you have a backup quarterback who was good, has been good his whole career, can't even play remotely well because no one's blocking and there's no run game. They tried Henry a lot today. He couldn't get anything going. I mean, what were Derrick Henry's stats? 15 carries for 33 yards for Derrick Henry today. Like,
doesn't it look like the end of Henry's career in Tennessee? Like, there was no help offensive line wise. There wasn't a quarterback that was giving him the best available chances. Like, that's not a shade on Lamar. It's just that Lamar's not available.
Mm-hmm.
And that team was gosh awful. So you can't have a defense that would bail you out because it's not getting the correct, looks and help to make those guys succeed. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. You can ask of some of the stars to step up. But I don't necessarily think that's like gonna happen in, like a week 8 situation against the Bears. That's a tough team to play. They're gonna really want to win too. And if you have Lamar, Humphrey, Roquan, all those guys back, like you would have to say those guys have to play for, like, they've earned every penny that we had given them. So
Yeah,
that's a lot to ask. That's a tough thing to ask.
yeah, it is. I really don't think I have much else
Me neither.
to even talk about. Like, we're obviously going to do our Q&A in 48 hours. Like, we'll have more to talk about then, but like, I got nothing else, guys.
Dire times for the Ravens. Like, a couple of people that I would say, considered the Ravens to be good last year, thinking about them as Super Bowl contenders going into this year, asking genuinely, what's wrong with them? And it's insane that the media also isn't saying the coaches. It's insane that they're not pointing at some of the superstars to play better. It's like, it's just different. It's a different kind of team. You're probably seeing a less than average offense for the rest of the year and a less than average defense for the rest of the year. You can't expect them to make the playoffs. You can't expect them to win the division. And you're probably looking at some mock drafts pretty soon. It's getting to that situation where we would be thinking about what to do. And I just hope for the life of all of us that Lamar wouldn't be up in arms about this and do something that we would all be pretty upset about in not signing an extension or, not wanting to be with this team anymore. So as of now, I sure wouldn't want to be either. I mean, I can't think of a reason a pending free agent would say, yeah, let me go back to the Ravens. There's nothing like that. So you're going to have to hope that some of these guys want to play for a coach that you're going to have to get. And if you don't do that, we're going to be looking at a bad football team for a lot longer.
Yeah. Like, let's just say they're 1-5 going into the bye. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 11 games after that. You'd have to go 9-2 after the bye to make the playoffs. And 1-5 to then being 9-2 is probably not going to happen. It is an easy schedule.
Sounds impossible.
It is an easy schedule, but like 9-2 would be a crazy run to go on, even if they're playing bad teams. So I would say definitely a higher chance that they miss the playoffs. But yeah, like this team, I cannot imagine this team with this defense going 9-2. Like, the Bears would score 40, the Dolphins would score 30. Maybe the Ravens will give JJ McCarthy, his first great game of his rookie season.
Probably.
Maybe Jake Browning will have the first good game of his season. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to be interesting. But yeah, you got anything else?
We appreciate you all for being here. If you haven't liked the video, you should. If you haven't subscribed, you definitely should. You can at least come back and cry with us about these losses. Share your thoughts in the comments. We love each and every one of you guys for coming through. We have a Discord now. You can join that. It's free. And yeah, I think we'll see you next time. Maybe some shout outs for the peeps that are live right now in the comments.
Yeah, Nate Blake, NF Nelly, Chaos, Charles Atkinson, Mad Rasta, ISO, Chaos, Don Royal, KP, Andrew G, High Frequencies, King Morgan, Am I missing anyone?
Too federal.
Jason Adkins. Two federal. Yeah. Two federal. Khalil. We appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Quick
Through the
reaction.
thick of this Ravens roster too, and Lamar's time here. Woo.
Yeah, going to be a big philosophical episode Tuesday night. We'll probably be talking a lot more future of the Ravens. But yeah, guys, appreciate everyone. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.